Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of A Drink with Crow and John. I'm one of your hosts, John. We're joined today as well, again, by my lovely, insane niece, Ruby, as well as John's here still as well, I think. Are you still over there crying into those ashes still, kid?
Oh, oh, shut the hell up, you drunken bastard. Yes, guys, this is John.
And like we said, we got Kiddo here. Welcome.
Woo!
Thank you again for joining us, Kiddo. And
Thanks for having me!
we got a special announcement before we get into this video here. Jean and I have decided to bring Kiddo on as a semi-permanent resident here on our little desk. She's got her own little coffee cup because she's not allowed the
Yay!
alcohol. It's got a cute
Aw.
little rose on it, and she still has her orange juice cup.
So guys, since it was since she did amazing in our last episode, and we enjoyed having her here. She's just overall amazing and welcome.
Thanks. I don't know how to respond to that.
It's okay. You'll always be a crater face, but hey, we
Hey! I'm not
But
a quick face.
this video, it's going to be a little bit controversial. This one here,
Oh god.
Controversy!
Kiddo basically beat me when I said I wanted to talk about this. I still have physical and mental scarring from it.
Oh
The kid
Jesus.
over there, he just laughed and wouldn't help me, just like when we dealt with the Knuckle V. But we're all in agreement. We're going to talk about one of the more controversial aspects that's going on in RWBY right now, the discussions of parentage, mainly the infamous and popular theory of Crow being Ruby's father.
Yes.
This is going to be different because all three of us have different opinions on this and different ideas on if it could work and what parts could work as well as what parts
Yeah.
can't work. We agree it's worth talking about with you guys because otherwise, well, we're hopping on board the controversy train with this because it's going to be fun and god damn it, there's not going to be any survivors when we're done.
Whoop whoop! Join
The,
the controversy train! Woo woo!
the line has been cut and we are going full speed.
Yep, and this is gonna be this is gonna be rather interesting.
Interesting is not just a word for it. Mostly because it's very different than a normal theory. There is a lot of evidence supporting it as well as a lot of evidence against it.
Yeah.
It's either way here.
Yeah, it's either way. I personally, I'm going to state my thoughts here real quick. I personally could side either way. I like the idea that Crow could be her father, but at the same time, I can't actually see it being true.
I'm kind of on the same wavelength with you. Like, I definitely understand why people think it's a thing, and I can definitely see why certain people would say, "Oh, this is 100% true," and blah blah blah. But me personally, I don't see it being actually true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And with me personally, it's a hit or a miss type of thing because it's like Crow is just saying, like just drunken assholes just saying, there is proof there's clues within the show that both support it, but then there's also things in the show that are contradicting it. So it seriously can really go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's very. How do I start with this? The evidence that people point to for it to be true are similar hairstyles. The redness in Ruby's hair could be from Summer, because we haven't really gotten a full idea on what color Summer's hair is. And
Yeah.
the idea also behind Ruby, unfortunately, kiddo, let's face it, you have really fucking bad luck.
Yep, I do.
And a lot of people say that that's partially hereditary, being that she could be evidence of Crow's father with his semblance of the bad luck charm. That even though her semblance is technically speed or teleportation or whatever you want to call it,
she's another version of Nightcrawler. Just put it that way.
Right.
Basically.
She is Rose Crawler.
I like that.
And but because of her bad luck aspect, sneezing and blowing up herself and Weiss.
Please don't remind me.
Crater face.
But there's that. There's her horrible luck with people. No offense, kiddo. You really sucked at making friends when pretty much your whole life up until getting into Beacon.
Pretty much.
Especially when I had to come over there and kind of help you up after you nearly blew yourself and Weiss up, Crater face, and when I was like, come here, and you were sitting, and you were getting on me about my weapon and everything. Oh, everybody makes their weapons. This is kind of this just a hand me down that my great grandfather had. No big deal.
Yeah, like there's the evidence with that.
Not many people respect the classics.
Yeah. But there's so much. The evidence with that is they explain with the different unfortunate incidents, a series of unfortunate events for Ruby. With
hey,
with the different things that's happened to her. Some even try to claim that the fact being the bad luck trait in her, even with her being forced to witness Pyrrha's death.
Oh God.
And
can we stop reminding me of that, please?
And the bad luck of her compounding mine with me getting stung in the stomach.
Yep. And I honestly thought Ruby was going to have a mental breakdown because of that happening.
Right. There's a lot of the evidence with that showing those bits. We know Ruby was trained by Crow. Crow, yep. What reason would Crow have to train someone in his weapon style when, if you think about it, in the entire Ruby universe, we've seen people using similar weapons to one another, except Ruby and Crow. They're the only ones who seem to use the scythe.
Very true.
Could it be, a lot of people pointed out with the aspect of, could that be the father wanting to pass on the fighting style to the child?
Pass on what he knows to his daughter.
Right. And, I mean, that's the one thing I would look at is the other point someone pointed out to me is they say the parent would explain the stuff to the child. After the fall of Beacon, Ty willingly left the room when Crow asked him to. And Crow is the one who explained it. Normally, the parent in that situation would explain what happened, and people point to that Ty was agreeing, okay, yes, you are her father, I'm just acting as the pseudo-father, you deserve to tell her what's going on.
Yeah. And I think that's where, the major point of contention came from with the whole debate of Crow being Ruby's father. And I definitely understand why people think that, and it definitely makes a lot of sense in context.
Yeah.
Right, and of course, I've seen a whole bunch of posts everywhere talking about, there's no way Crow's Ruby's father. That why is this being discussed? As always, blah 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 blah. But the thing is, I have to agree with both. I have to agree with both Shadow and Crow here. I have to agree that there's the big possibilities, and and I'm pretty sure we're going to get to this part here in a little bit, but I had a couple of thoughts myself on how of what could have happened leading up to Ruby being so to speak under the care of Tai Yang.
Right.
Yeah. And I think a popular theory for why Ruby is under Ty's care is because of Crow's bad luck semblance, if I remember correctly. Because, like, I remember seeing this one post of, like, defending the theory for Ruby's father being Crow, and they were saying, like, oh, the reason why Ruby doesn't know is because of the fact that Crow gave Ruby to Tai Yang because of the fact that his semblance would unintentionally hurt her, and he wanted to protect her, and blah blah blah. And
well, I did want to protect you, kiddo.
I know, and I definitely understand that logic.
Well,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that evidence that Tai just seems a hell of a lot closer to Ruby than an uncle would be.
Yeah.
He seems to be very protective of her. Even more so protective of her than he is of Yang.
Yeah, and she's his biological niece.
Right. And I mean, if that's the case, I point that out to people of, yeah, that's an evidence there of, if he is more protective of Ruby than he is of Yang, is there something more than uncle and niece?
And we don't know. Yeah.
Is he hiding that he is actually Ruby's father, and he can't be around her because he sees too much of Summer in her, or he's afraid, like you said, kiddo, the bad luck, could he be afraid that it's going to hurt her?
Yeah, and I definitely believe that, like, for the Ruby's father is Tai Yang theory, that part of the reason why Crow is so protective of Summer is because of the fact that he actually had a thing for Summer Rose when they were kids, like when they were when they were a part of Team Stark, and after Summer died, I think he kind of
broke.
Broke and kind of blamed himself in a way, and decides, I'm going to protect the child of the woman I love. Like, I definitely see a lot of Pearl from Steven Universe in frickin' Crow.
Gee, I don't know if I should be honored or offended by that, kiddo.
Well, Pearl's awesome.
But yeah, you got a good point there. It could be just him blaming himself on us for Summer's death and wanting to make up for it by protecting her leftover memory, for argument's sake, the memory she left behind of her little baby.
Yeah, and it also helps the fact that, like, when he was passed out from Tyrion's poison, he kept on, like, saying in his, like, little, like, I don't even know what to really call it, like, delusional state, like, Tai, she's not coming back and stuff like that, and that definitely helps support the theory of him having somewhat feelings for Summer.
Not only that, but it also lends credence to the aspect of him blaming himself for something that happened in the past, and he was having a fever dream, for lack of a better term there as well, on his past. He was remembering what had happened. For lack of a better real description, it's pretty safe to say that Crow was pretty much at death's door.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. And just the fact that we were just talking about this a little while ago, Shadow, that, you know, Ruby pretty much damn near was having a nervous breakdown practically a mental breakdown when Crow was poisoned, and, you know, it was sure that he was going to die, and and just how Ruby was acting. Like
Yeah, she was trying so hard to keep it together.
Yeah,
Because she knew that Jean was freaking out over Nora and Ren and them separating, and he was going through his own little nervous breakdown, and she basically is trying her hardest to keep everyone positive and everything, and that's part of the reasons why I fell in love with
positive mental attitude.
Yep, basically.
Right? And that she didn't want everybody. She also didn't want everybody to know that she was so freaked out about Crow. She was so terrified for Crow that she literally had to put on the best act of her life. She literally had to put on the best mask of her life, pretty much.
Yep, pretty much.
Look how, if you really would think on it that way, when they were found by the Vel people, I think, Vel, she actually pretty much did break down. She started crying and said, "We made it, Uncle Crow. You're going to be okay."
Yeah.
She knew deep down if they wouldn't have gotten the help, Crow was gone. She'd have lost Crow.
Yep.
Right.
And a lot of people, I can also see the aspect, like we said, is it possible she is his daughter? Maybe. I can't say for positivity just yet, but forming opinions, talking with you two helps. It could be that she sees him as another father figure, yes. Considering that there is a probability, like, as a gag, a page we all three like and laugh at, one of their people who voices Ruby made us laugh in it when she made mention Crow did not abandon her and break down like Ty did during Summer and even Raven leaving him. It literally left Ruby to be pretty much raised by Yang for probably a good couple of years until Ty pulled it together. And it's possible she, much like a duckling does, upon seeing Crow and how, as bad as it sounds, even though I'm an alcoholic asshole who's a skirt chaser, together, Crow has it, that she almost could have imprinted on him that this is a man that is like a father to me.
Yeah.
Right, and then another thing that that just kind of has been... I've been tossing this idea around in my head for a while, too, that it's like... No, well, I'll get to here in a second, though. The question that's been in my mind was, if Crow really is Ruby's father, like, if that's really the case may be, then, is there a possibility that Yang possibly knows that, Ruby's adopted? Does she know, or is Ty doing a really one hell of a job in keeping it a secret from everybody, and that Yang herself doesn't even know that Ruby's not her sister?
That's
a very good
one.
That's a very good point.
Because everybody was saying, is Crow Ruby's father? That just left that question in my mind for a while. So okay, if it's really possible that Crow is Ruby's father, and then what? Tai Yang is just it's just a guardian. Then what the hell does that make Yang to her? Because I mean, saying is like Yang and Ruby are like sisters. They're constantly calling each other sister and everything. But the question in my mind is, does Yang know about this? And one thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that maybe it could possibly have something to do with Ozpin. And the reason why I say this is because there's a good possibility that Crow not only wanted to protect Ruby from himself and his semblance, but he had other shit he had to do, but also the fact that Crow may have gone. I have a good feeling that he may have gone. There's a good possibility he may have gone to Ozpin and told Ozpin, "Hey, look, I can't let anything happen to Ruby, and she needs to be protected, and I'm on your side with this." Oz, so I'm willing to work with you, whatever it is we need to do. And then Oz then pulls in. Then that's how Tai Yang gets involved, and then that's when he goes, okay, well, here's what we'll do. Ruby can Ruby will be raised by Tai Yang, but and of course this all happens when Ruby's a baby. Like she's she's too young to know better of anything, and so and then of course, mind you, Yang is a couple years older than Ruby. So
yeah, she's I think it's 2 years older than Ruby.
Right, and because Yang's already been around. So then when when Tai brings Ruby home, he basically tells Tai Yang, "Hey, look, she this is Ruby. She's your new stepsister or whatnot. But when she gets older, you are not to say a damn word that she's adopted. This Ruby. So as far as Ruby's concerned, she is your sister, and I'm her father." And that basically, and then Tai Yang is swore under oath of silence that she's not to say anything to Ruby.
Right, and the other aspect with that, bringing up Tai Yang, there is no physical description in Ruby that matches Tai. They have nothing in common with their looks. Unlike even with Yang, she has his hair and his eyes. Ruby has the silver eyes of Summer. She doesn't have anything that really marks her as Tai Yang's daughter.
Right. Yep. So I mean that's why I was tossing that idea around in my mind for a while. It's okay, then, is that a possibility?
I mean, it is. It is possible that Tai just adopted Ruby in. It could have just been after Summer's death. That could be what he was dreaming about. That she's not coming back. You have to protect Ruby. You have to protect my daughter, Tai.
Very true, very true.
And I mean, one of my favorite scenes in that season is between Qrow and Jaune. I found it heartbreaking that when Jaune carried away Qrow and set him down, Qrow grabbed his hand, and the look in his eyes was screaming, "Protect her." It's like, kiddo, you showed me the comic as well, and it's heart-wrenching. I know you don't like me, you don't trust me, but please keep her safe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think that's when Jaune started to
trust Qrow more.
Yeah, after seeing that look in his eyes and everything, just kind of made things a little bit more
sense.
More sense to him.
It clicked. Jaune pretty much saw himself there for a second of, I can't save her, you can.
Yeah, basically.
Right, and there's just, because I had the idea just popping in my mind. It's like, holy shit! And I didn't think about that till just recently, but then there's the other point where maybe Ozpin, maybe Oz could have told Qrow, with your bad luck semblance, do you really think Ruby being around you is the best thing for her, and not to say that. Not that you want to be. It's not that you don't want to raise her. It's just the fact that
is she going to be safe around you?
Exactly, she could be safe around you, and then that's when Qrow finally admits it, that you're right. She's not going to be safe around me. Then that's when Ozpin goes like, well, then I have a solution for you, and then that's when they bring Tai Yang in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, there's that possibility, but on the other hand, there is a lot of different aspects of showing that she is Tai's daughter. It still could be chalked up to, oh, she just adopted and he did raise her. How much Tai cares deeply for her. He calls them both his little girls. He's very fatherly to both of them, trying to be the cool dad, if you will, showing off to them and saying, "Hey, I'm still cool even though I'm your dad. I still have this to offer you girls."
Yep.
Right. And
Like,
I just this other thought just hit me. Well, I could just imagine. I'm picturing it now. What would happen? What if it was revealed that Crow is Ruby's father? If it was revealed, and the look on Ruby's face when she finds out.
The thing I'm going to say, I hate to say it in this manner because I think it's what would happen if something like that did happen. I'd
Right.
almost say it would be, and I think you'd probably even agree as well, kiddo. It would be
Yeah.
betrayal.
a little bit. I think she would be like. I kind of think that she would first be like, what are you talking about? I'm Tai Yang's daughter, and like she would kind of try to talk herself out of it, and then like after like Crow and Tai talking to her saying, "No, you're biologically not Ty's daughter. You're my daughter with Summer." Like she would definitely have a moment of just like
breaking down and not trusting either of them.
Yeah, I think she would have a moment where she would just like disappear, kind of like Blake. Like when she was discovered to be a part of the White Fang by Team Ruby.
Yeah, I mean that's a very very good possibility.
And here's another one I was possibly thinking of. Or something could happen where suddenly, I'm bringing Ozpin in this part again, but maybe there's a possibility where something will happen and they're getting ready to go in for the biggest battle of their lives or something, and next something happens with either Crow or Tai Yang, and then suddenly something happens where Crow and Tai, they get into a conversation, and then they go like, "We can't keep the charade up anymore. Ruby needs to know. We need to tell her what's going on." And
just imagine what would happen if like Tai and Crow decided to tell her this during a battlefield, and Crow got like shot or something like that and was nearly dying again.
I nearly die a lot. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then it'd be just like if something were to happen and let's say Tai looks at Ruby, goes like, "Ruby, I never thought this day would come, but I never thought we'd ever have to do this, but there's something Crow and I need to tell you." And then
I can see where you're going with that, kid. I agree wholeheartedly with you on that, something like that. But I would see them doing that if it was absolutely no chance of Crow surviving.
Yeah.
And I could see Tai saying, as bad as it sounds, it's going to even make me tear up slightly when I say it, "Ruby, you have to say goodbye to your real dad. That you have to give him the honor. You are not just my daughter. You are my daughter, but you are also his."
Yeah, and when Crow finally dies, like, I kind of picture her having like an Avatar moment where she just goes completely in shock that like her silver eyes activate and she basically has a Avatar state kind of thing where she just goes into a pure on frenzy, like not trusting anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her snapping.
And not just that, but just imagine, what would happen if Yang was standing right there, and Ruby looks at Yang, and then Yang has that look on her face like, oh shit. And Ruby's basically like, you knew? Did you know? And like Ruby kind of looks
You
at Yang.
knew.
So you knew, didn't you?
You knew, didn't you?
And
Damn it, kiddo.
and Yang and Yang's get ready to and like Yang gets ready to cry too, because she knows that the gig is up.
Yeah, it is possible that Yang could know. If this is a fact, that Yang knows that Ruby is not actually her sister but her cousin. I could see something along the lines of what happened with Weiss and Yang. Yang saying, "It doesn't matter. You're still my sister."
Yeah.
Because I could just see the fact that I don't see Firecracker ever pulling away from Ruby and not looking at her like her little sister. Even if they did just turn out to be cousins.
Yeah, like I can for Yang, no matter if Ruby is her cousin or her biological sister, she still sees Ruby as her sister. No matter what happens with Ruby, Ruby is her sister.
Or possibly even, and you know, Crow, I gotta agree with you, and I will agree with you to one standpoint that Crow is on the verge of death, and everybody and Ty and Crow both know that Crow has no chance to survive. That they say it's time you need to say goodbye to your real father. Or what if something happens and like say something happens and Tai Yang is that like say Tai Yang is in the battle and he's getting ready to sacrifice himself for Ruby or Yang, and next thing you know,
see, that would be an interesting one. I think you're going with what if it possible if not Crow dying but Tai dying.
Right, and then that's when Crow and Tai have to go like, and then next you know Ruby's going like, "Daddy, no!" And then that's when Tai looks at Ruby, goes like, "Ruby,
you always were my daughter, but you aren't my actual daughter,
biological daughter." Like, but
yeah.
And then that's when she goes like, "What?" And then that she gets that look on her face like, "What are you talking? Like, what are you talking about?" And then that's when Crow chimes in. He goes like, "Kiddo, um, well, Crow, you're Crow. You help me out here."
It would be difficult because I would see Crow saying along the lines of sitting down as Tai is passing because they know they can't save him, and only to explain, kiddo, I couldn't keep you. Salem was going to come after me. She took your mother. I wasn't going to let her take you. I asked the only person I trusted to raise you as his own, so you would be safe.
Yeah, and I still think that if that were to happen, she would still have like a mental breakdown.
I think we already established she would have a mental breakdown and she would snap no matter no matter which one was going down or what the outcome, no matter who was on the verge of death, she would still snap. And then after after losing her shit for a while, say if it was Tai Yang that was living, she would literally be like, why did you lie to me all these years? And or she'll look at Crow's like,
why did you abandon me?
Right.
Like she would have this moment of just like, didn't you even love me enough to keep me?
Yeah, something like that, or even maybe having a moment of Yang in her, of partially despising Crow, like how Yang despises Raven for her leaving him. And if you think about it in that same manner, Raven has dropped hints as well that Crow is something more to Ruby, with how she hints that he's no better than her.
Yeah.
And that could be referring to the effect of she only replied to that when he said about Yang, that you're no better than me. Could that indicate that she's saying you're no better because you left your daughter just like I left mine?
It is a possibility.
Right. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen, and the whole entire thing was, like Ruby looking at Crow, like, why did you leave me? How could you do something like that? And that's when Crow explains to her about his semblance and that he didn't want anything to happen. But then Ruby retorts back with, "But we're blood, we're family. I don't care what the risks are. I want you in my life."
Right, I could see something like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is why this is as controversial as it is, because if something like this turns up and it turns out that something like that is true, that Ruby is actually Crow's daughter, how
Right.
much is it going to, for lack of a lack of better description, break her? How much is it going to change the happy-go-lucky, bubbly girl we all love? How much is it going to change her?
Yeah, like something like that, I definitely think, like the whole parts with her with Team Ranger and everything, and all this shit that they went through was like the first stepping stones to see how far she can really like push herself emotionally. But doing something like that would just make her snap. Like she would never be able to like fully recover from it in just like a few days, like she did with what happened to Crow when he almost died with Tyrion.
He somehow overrode my alcohol system with poison.
And another thing I could possibly see happening is like say Ruby snaps, but as that's happening, whether it's Crow or Ty, either one would look at her and say, "In case you're wondering, Yang did know, but don't be mad at her. This is not her fault. We made her promise."
Yeah.
And finding a way so that way Ruby would still trust Yang, because the fact that Yang, she wanted to tell her, but she knew that she couldn't.
Yeah.
And then Ruby could possibly see, it's not Yang's fault. And, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, it's so deep of a possibility with this that it is very much a chance that a theory like this, if it turns out to be true, could be series changing.
Very much so. And I know for a fact that the people that have been saying, "Oh, Ruby is Crow's daughter," are going to be like, "We called it."
Yep, I could definitely see that one coming.
Unfortunately, I can as well. The issue I'm seeing as well with it is, if something like that did happen with Ruby and how she could change, is it a good probability as well? And it's a thought I have, and it's an interesting way that it could actually happen as well. Hear me out, both of you and all you viewers. Could it be that Salem knows?
Ooh.
Oh, that is a good one.
She killed. It's pretty. It's fairly believable. We could say that Summer died by Salem's hands.
Yeah.
And she could have seen Crow running away with a baby Ruby. Could she know that Ruby is actually Crow's and not Ty's? And could she use that to, in essence, in her own words, crush that little spark of hope.
Right, because the more you think about that, could something happen to where, where Salem, where basically everybody's on the verge of finally defeating Salem, that there's a possibility that Salem could use that kind of as a trump card, sort of, like use it as her, her deal breaker sort of thing, and be to where, like, say Ruby is in the same room with Salem, say somehow Salem somehow kidnaps Ruby, and and next thing you know, Ruby is face to face with Salem and her goons, Team Witch, and next thing you know, like something can happen on the lines of like right before how do I put this? Like Salem has Ruby in there, and she's talking to her at just trying to get information and whatnot, and then finally she goes like, "Oh, Ruby, just before we send you back, there's something you should ask. Like, there's something maybe you should find out, or like it's like
they never told you the full truth,
or like something.
I could see something happen like with Tyrion, like Salem kind of be like, huh, "You really don't know, do you?"
Right.
Or something like that.
You are creepily capable of doing that, kiddo. That actually creeped me out slightly.
Oh my god.
That's what happens when you're a voice actress.
Right, and Salem will be like, "Oh, they never told you, did they?" And Ruby has a look, and Ruby's like, "What are you talking about?"
It's a twist. I am your mother.
Oh my goodness,
They never told you what happened to your mother, did they? They told me you killed her. No, I am your mother.
No!
And the only reason I brought that up is there are so many, and we're not going into this one, guys, because this fucking theory, we would not have the time. We would have the time, but it would basically drive us insane because there is evidence and there's non-evidence, and we don't want to fucking deal with it yet, of Salem having taken Summer Rose's body.
Yeah. And oh my god, it's something.
Yeah, so we'll get onto that one on another video. So you guys will love staying tuned for something like that. But
right. But no, it's like we were saying.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a weird thing.
It's a possibility.
It's a thing.
Right. But it's a possibility that Salem could look at Ruby and goes like, "Oh, your Uncle Crow never told you, did he?" And Ruby goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes like, "You'll know soon enough." And then bam, sends her right back to the others after she gets what she wants from Ruby.
Cause she would sow seeds of doubt.
And then
that's what she does. She always makes sure to put that little tiny seed of doubt.
Right. Like, as weird as it sounds to say, as Raven looks at Ty, he's nothing more than a willing sperm donor. She had real no love for him at times, I think. It is still possible that Ruby is Ty's daughter, but that during the pregnancy of Summer with Ruby from Ty is that Summer's genes are more prominent, and that's why she looks so much more like Summer and really doesn't have anything in relation physically to Ty.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's many stories out there of children who basically can pass as clones for their one parent or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I'm willing to hedge a bet for this part of the video, because we have another part of the possibilities of Crow being a father for the last part of the video here, listeners, I'm willing to hedge my bet to weigh in, for us three here to weigh in here, on this part of this theory. I'm willing to say it's a probability. I cannot give a yes or a no. There is stuff pointing to yes and stuff pointing to no. Until more evidence comes forward, I am not willing to give a 100% either way.
I'm kind of the same.
I like the theory. It's a wonderful theory. But I cannot say yes or no. It makes sense? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Is it fully provable yet? No. What do you two think on that?
I'm kind of the same wavelength as you. Like, I definitely see the, like, people, I understand why people say it's true, and I definitely understand, like, why people say it's not true. But until I get, like, 100% concrete evidence for it to be one or the other, I can't really say it's true or false either way.
Right, and I mean, this whole entire thing, like I've seen so many evidence pointing to where yes, it is true, but at the same time, there's quite a few pieces of evidence that's pointing that's not true. So I mean, we never know. There's no way for us to really know either way, and but actually, there's only one person. There's only one person who does know, and that's of course the creator himself. He knew, but
right.
But other than that, but he's been doing one hell of a job of keeping everybody guessing. I mean, just one hell.
We're still, from what Rooster Teeth themselves have said, listeners, as Jean pointed out, we're still working off of Monty Oom's scripts. He had so much written down before they themselves start having to add anything.
Yep.
So
right, but
we don't know what the future's going to hold for it yet.
Right. It's like and for everybody listening in, it's like we said previously, we're not with Rooster Teeth. We're not the voice actors or nothing like that. We don't claim to be.
Even though people think I am the voice actress of Ruby, I am not.
I swore you were, kiddo. But
I swear to God, like, a lot of people think I'm like the official voice actress of Ruby, and I am not. I am not.
You're just really good at doing it, kiddo.
I wish I was that talented, but I am not.
Well, we know your creator face. We all know that.
But the next part we wanted to discuss when we were setting this video up, it's still dealing with Crow, and I brought this up with both Jean and Kiddo here, listeners. It's a theory I came across recently, and I loved it. It makes some pretty damn good sense. Kiddo, I don't know if you fully like the idea. I think Jean, you said it makes sense. But the theory being that Crow is Emerald's father.
Yeah, I definitely understand. It kind of makes sense. It really does. Seeing how he's so much of a skirt chaser and everything.
Hey, I like my women. But that's the point. He explains, not in sordid details, of course, but enough to gross the kids out.
Yeah.
He has had quite a few flings, it's safe to say. He is a man whore.
Yep.
And Emerald,
you hear it right here, folks. He admitted it.
I take pride in it, kiddo. But
you perverted motherfucker.
We know nothing about Emerald's parentage. She was a street rat. A scoundrel.
Take that!
Kiddo got it. Yes, listeners. From what Rooster Teeth has said and hinted, Emerald is based off of Aladdin. She
Girl, take that.
She does not know her parents, or she could have known her parents. Her mother could have been one of the bar waitresses that Crow did the vertical limbo with. And
Oh my god.
the reasoning behind it is it could be her mother told her he was a great huntsman. He used a scythe. And if you compare it lightly to her weapons, they're twin guns with scythes on them. She could be trying to live up to the idea of what her mother said her father was like. She also is the only other character in the series so far, besides Crow and Raven, to have blood red eyes.
Yeah, true.
She also was found running from the law, for if you will, by Cinder. And Cinder seemed to know something a bit more about her, that you want power, you want to be noticed. It could be that Emerald wants to find who her father was. And it's a possibility there is hints. How her fighting style is very, very similar to Crow's. She fights very quickly. She uses speed to her advantage, just like Crow does.
Yep.
She also has been shown to have the bad luck. Again, we can play off that with it being a partial inheritance. Her mother is most likely dead. It's a very good probability that her mother is dead.
Yep.
She's on the street. She's stealing to live. If that ain't bad luck, I don't know what the fuck is.
Yep.
She had the unfortunate bad luck of being picked up by Cinder.
Yep.
She's had the bad luck of probably being, I'm going to guesstimate, sexually harassed, at least verbally, by Mercury. Because he seems to be
at least a little bit.
Yeah, or even Tyrion now. Because those two kind of seem like they would be that kind of person, unfortunately. Yeah. She's also been shown to be slightly scared of certain things, which she seemed to be frightened when she saw Raven and Raven's ability with the bird. If you actually paid attention to that, she seemed to be scared of that. Is it possible that she knows that her father has that ability to turn into the bird, and that's why she's scared? She's finally going to meet him, or meet that person that her mother had always told her about.
Right. And of course, when I just can't help but think, it's yes, it's possible, but at the same time, I just kind of wonder where that kind of came from in a way, because I mean, when Crow first mentioned it, I was just like, okay, whoa, wait a minute, where'd that all come from? It also came out of left field. But that's just me,
it's
though.
A crack theory.
Yeah.
But it's one because we decided we wanted to talk about Crow being Ruby's father. I believed was a worthwhile thing to bring up in this discussion as well.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
Because, well, we've said it already. Crow is a man whore. So, for all we know, there's a lot of his kids out there for all we know.
Yep. Sad but true.
Which is indicative of the effect of one of them could be his child. And our best bets, at the moment at least, with some of the evidence we've seen, are Ruby and, well, Emerald.
I could just see the look on Ruby's face now if she were to find out that Emerald was her sister, or even vice versa. It's like, whoa.
Find out that she's her cousin.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I think that would just be cute. Her looking at Emerald and go, we're both named after gemstones. Cousin! Hug, let go
of me!
And Emerald goes like, oh my god.
No.
God help me. This idiot is my cousin. Oh, God, that means the blonde bimbo's my cousin, too.
Ah. But no, I mean,
Oh, that would be horrifying. I could just see it now as she realizes that and then slowly turns to look at Raven and goes, "Oh, God, you're my aunt."
well, shit. I mean, we were talking about the previous video, me possibly getting trained under Raven. My God, you think that you? So you're
Hey, at
horrified.
least you'll become a man then.
Hey!
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man.
I am now picturing Raven just training the hell out of Jean with, "Let's get down to business
Oh my God.
to defeat the Grim."
You're a dick. Oh my God. But no, I mean, yeah, I could just picture. I just can't get out of my head that just imagine the look on Ruby's face if she finds out that Crow is really her father. Oh my God. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it's. But I think, because again, listeners, the aspect of we had more detail to discuss with Ruby being the potential daughter of Crow than Emerald, because the Emerald thing is superficial with the eye color and her bad luck as well as her similar fighting style to Crow's, and even the aspect of her being a street urchin where she could have been,
Right.
for lack of a better word, a bastard child of Crow's that he doesn't even know about.
Yeah, for all we know, he doesn't even know he has a daughter.
Right. Which I could see that being hilarious, with her saying, "You're my goddamn father!" And Crow going, "I don't remember having you." And Ruby going, "You were probably drunk!"
Of course you're always drunk!
Right. So I mean, it's like I said. I mean, and if I said when they find out, I meant to say if. So that's I don't know. My brain's just not working well right now.
Well, you are a blonde.
Shut up.
But would you both agree that both of these theories were a very good discussion?
Yes.
Yes, I will agree.
Very much so.
Now, listeners, we welcome your opinions, your thoughts, your hate mail. We'll just use them to line my cat's litter box, and Kiddo will set a little bonfire and have marshmallows over them. And Jean will probably use them to make a papier-mâché dinosaur.
Probably.
We don't care if you want to send us hate, you want to send us criticism. We welcome it. It helps us.
It invigorates us.
It makes us want to try harder and do more. I think even Kiddo will agree. The more you tell us...
It makes us fluffy unicorns!
We embrace the hate.
God. We will take constructive criticism, hate, just comments telling us to go drown ourselves in pickle juice. We don't care. It lets us know that you're actually listening to these videos, that you're willing to chime in and say, "That was a good idea," or "What the fuck were you all thinking?"
Or
it helps.
Or if you leave us a comment saying, "Hey, hey guys, what about? Did you remember this part about this or something we missed?" You know.
And we look forward to you hearing your comments. We look forward to all that. We look forward to even hearing you say, "Thank you." We don't ask for much. Just let us know that you enjoy it.
Whether it's good or bad, like we welcome comments whether they're good or bad. It doesn't that part. The good ones are gonna were great for us. We'll definitely look at whatever comments we see on here, and if there's something we missed, we might bring it up in another video. Or if you just say you guys are full of shit, why the hell did you make this video? Blah blah blah. Go ahead, say what you will.
It's fine. We understand it. Now, we hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm glad again. Thank you so much, Kiddo, for joining us and wanting to be part of
Yes.
this fully.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. I
It's
love being in these videos.
It's
So
such
much
an
fun.
honor. It's such an honor. Go again, everyone. Go check out her videos. K Shadow at YouTube. With YouTube, does amazing gameplay videos.
Even
great
though
art,
I'm screaming over most of the time.
and her little Blake slimes escaping constantly.
Right. And also, guys, I'm gonna throw this one out there. At some point in time, when I finally get this drunken bastard the card that we need for the PlayStation Network, so we can all play Ruby Grim Eclipse. Me, Shadow, and Crow here, we're all gonna be doing a playthrough of Ruby Grim Eclipse.
Yes,
And
all of us are, and including a good friend of ours and good friend of Kiddo's. Vex.
He's gonna be our Neo.
Yeah,
And-
he's our Neo. Our envisionment is Neo with the voice of Morgan Freeman.
Basically.
And
either that or we just not gonna have him talk the entire time, but you know.
Right.
But stay
And-
tuned, guys. We are going to be starting those here soon enough. We're
And
going to start
also,
doing gameplay videos.
yes, and another thing, Shadow has been bringing this up to me multiple times. That Shadow, you said you want to do like this another mode on Ruby Grim Eclipse, right? Am I right about that?
I want to do the horde mode on my channel because I've been planning on doing it for a while now. I did a let's play of it by myself as Ruby, so I'm going to be doing it with these awesome dudes for their channel.
Aw, thank you.
So for all we know, we might do the story mode and horde mode for both this channel and on my channel. So who knows?
And
Right.
well, listeners, much like when we were on Kiddo's channel for doing Cards Against Remnant, we are going to also be potentially doing, because I'm probably going to get it for Kiddo, or Jean is going to, one of us, or even Vex, we are going to be making sure Kiddo gets a copy of 7 Days to Die. Look forward.
And we're going to be building shit, killing zombies.
Look forward to 7 days of Ruby with that.
Yay.
Of us trying to survive. Probably lots of screaming, insane amount of cursing.
Yep.
Probably a lot of Ruby going, zombie, kill the zombie!
Basically.
Probably. I can, Kiddo screaming, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. I can't kill it if you don't stop fucking running.
And oh my god, the zombie's puking on me, damn it!
Yes, there is a zombie Jean. He is the bloater, so you will end up experiencing it yet again, Kiddo, of having vomit on you.
Ew.
That's okay. She'll just go create her face and everybody.
No.
Probably that is now you are not allowed the rocket launcher in the game.
Aww.
You can have the sniper rifle when we get one.
And keep all the beer away from this drunken asshole.
I don't need beer. They have grain alcohol. Ha ha ha.
God damn it, I forgot about that.
But
keep the grain alcohol away from him.
But again, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Shadow, for agreeing to be a part of this.
Yes.
And the videos that's playing in the background is all her art. Go check out her art. I appreciate. I have a
DeviantArt. I have a DeviantArt. It's K Shadow, because I'm predictable as all hell. But I have most of my artwork up there, so you can check it out, the finished products and everything. So yeah.
And stay tuned for some videos adding onto this channel as well. There'll probably be one up before this guy goes up, because I'm going to probably try to get one done beforehand. A couple new comic dubs coming up. I'm going to having Kiddo in with me on one, and possibly John as well, if he's still willing to be in it. And we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope we enlightened you a little bit, even though we may have changed your mind to either agreeing with the theories or disagreeing.
Or telling us to fuck off. Or telling us to fuck off. No matter.
So, either way, Thank you all for listening. Go ahead, guys. Say your goodbye before we cut this.
Bye!
See you later, everybody. Take care.
Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.